Our final presenter is the CEO of the DevOps Institute over in the USA. Now, she is the co-founder and board member of DevOps. She's the former president of ITSM Marketing, and she's got more IT credentials to her name than the English alphabet has letters. So I'm not going to go through them all. What I am going to say is sit back and learn about DevOps for humans from the inimitable, the one and only, Jayne Groll. Jayne, the platform is yours.
Thank you, Michael, for that really nice introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm Jayne Groll. I'm CEO of the DevOps Institute. I'm really delighted to be here talking about one of my favorite topics, which is DevOps for humans. A little bit about me. I am co-founder and CEO of the DevOps Institute. I'll tell you a little bit about DevOps Institute in a minute. I spent a long time in the ITIL ITSM space prior to founding DevOps Institute in 2015. And before that, I was an IT ops director for a fairly long time. I get the privilege to speak at events like this on a frequent basis, and I'm also the author of the Agile Service Management Guide. If you're not familiar with DevOps Institute, we are a professional association. I invite you to come up to our website, learn more about what we do, become a member. We have multiple tiers of membership, including a basic free membership as well as a premium paid membership. Our mission is to advance the human elements of DevOps. We strongly believe that it's going to be human transformation that drives digital transformation. And so we create a safe and interactive environment for our global community to grow their skills, to interact with each other, to continue to learn, and to have access to some pretty amazing content and events. So again, go up to the website, become a member, learn more about what DevOps Institute does. So I want to start our story today by acknowledging that the world shifted very suddenly, very drastically in 2020 with no notice. And while we're so grateful to the healthcare workers, the first responders, and others that helped us navigate through this very, very difficult time, the tech community played an important role as well. In fact, I like to think of the tech community as sort of the unsung heroes of the pandemic, because we had to help organizations pivot the way that they work, right? Moving from perhaps an on-prem environment to a remote work from home, perhaps accelerating a presence in the digital landscape where that might not have been moving as quickly as was necessary in order to adapt to the changing needs of the pandemic. The tech community really had to rise to the occasion, and it's the tech community around the world, I think, that helped organizations survive and in some cases thrive when all of the odds were against us, given the human and the professional toll that the pandemic has taken on us. So as we start to move out of the crazy times of 2020 into 2021 and all of the horrific activities and the toll on humans and organizations, we're moving into a new normal. I don't know what the new normal looks like. You probably don't know as well. But one thing is fairly certain, and that's that digital transformation is just no longer optional. Organizations found out very quickly that moving into a digital environment, establishing a digital presence was essential in order to be able to stay relevant, to continue growing, and in many cases, continue having some sort of bottom line throughout the last 18 months. But if we're going to have digital transformation, then we also have to have human transformation. And that's going to require humans who have new talent and new skills across a broad range of topic areas. So as a human of DevOps, how do you know which skills are essential to your career? Which skills are necessary for your organization to grow and adapt? And which skills should you be focusing on? And should you be asking your organization for support? And how do you know? Well, crisis is going to accelerate change. And in many cases, I think it's going to help us understand what areas in IT in particular are necessary for this new normal, whatever that new normal turns out to be. DevOps continues to shift left. And one of the key principles of DevOps is to take some of the activities that previously happened downstream, like testing, security, like deployment, and moving that earlier into the cycle so that developers have core security skills, have core testing skills, understand infrastructure. DevOps engineers are embracing a lot of automation in order to move a lot of those activities sooner so that we could go faster and more frequently. Security obviously is integral to a digital business. We've seen too many security breaches recently that have significantly affected supply chains. And so everyone in IT has to develop core security skills. There's going to be a rapid movement even further into the cloud. Organizations that were perhaps on-prem or were hybrid environments found out very quickly during the pandemic that the migration to the cloud was becoming more essential. But cloud models also require intelligent automation, right? They give you the environment, but going to optimize that environment requires skills and ideas. There's a lot of pressure on old IT operating models to transform. And so organizations that have a long heritage likely need to examine what they're doing today and how they can replicate that or reduce some of the toil, the repetitive work as they move into these new IT operating models. A lot of interest in artificial intelligence and machine learning, and that's helping to accelerate these new operating models as well. And at the heart of it is a focus on value stream management, where everyone in IT needs to understand the definition of value creation and what role they and their teams play in the delivery of value to the end consumer of their services. And then site reliability engineering, an engineering discipline for operations, is rapidly growing as well. And we've seen that year over year as we do our research into which skills are considered must have, nice to have, and not as important. Every year, DevOps conducts a community research project known as the Upskilling Project. We reach into the community with a very, very deep survey and ask which skills are considered must have, nice to have, and not as important. And last year, we had about 2,100 respondents to the survey from across the globe. So we feel like we've got some pretty good data to be able to share with our community. You're welcome to download a copy of the full upskilling report for free from our website. But you know, the underlying message to all of this is that we need to intentionally upskill our humans as often as we upgrade our applications. Again, I'm an old IT ops direct, you know, upgrading our applications, making sure that our software was the latest and greatest version was always a focus area for us. Well, now we need to take that same approach with our humans because the shelf life of your current skills is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And we want individuals and organizations to take intentional steps to upskill those humans so that we can meet the new demands of the digital age. Well, the good news out of the report is that DevOps humans are in high demand. COVID-19 did not stop organizations from hiring talent, particularly into DevOps teams, right? The recognition of the ability to go smaller, to go faster, to go more frequently really did encourage organizations to either keep their DevOps team the same or to expand their DevOps team, as 23% of the respondents said that. 60% of the organizations represented in the survey are recruiting now and in the future. And you're probably aware that there's a huge labor shortage, particularly in the IT realm. It's professionals that are proficient in multiple domain areas that have strong human skills that are in the highest demand. So again, if you're a professional, there's no better time to start really assessing your skills portfolio, to asking your organization to help you help them, because the demand for DevOps professionals, particularly cross-skilled, DevOps professionals is greater than ever. Which titles have been recently hired? Well, DevOps engineer still takes the top spot as a new role that is embracing continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous testing, and looking at how do we take software out of the agile teams and bring it to the point and beyond into deployment. There will always be a demand for software engineers, but site reliability engineers is a new role, particularly on the operations side, that's gaining a lot of traction and a lot of interest. In fact, software engineers are starting to move into SRE roles as well. Infrastructure, CI/CD roles, again, very, very strong. But the good news here is that according to our respondents, organizations will look internally first for talent before going outside. Many are willing to hire internally and then provide training. So again, if you're happy in your existing organization, you can apply to jobs that give you promotion, move into other areas, really kind of build your own career path. And of course, if you're looking to move outside your organization, the demand for talent is strong as well. But again, organizations knowing that there's a labor shortage is certainly something that moving inside and identifying good loyal talent is certainly top of mind. It takes a tribe, right? So everyone in IT, look at this list. I mean, it pretty much represents just about every role in a IT organization. We need multi-disciplines. We need empowered teams. We need self-managing teams. But we also need the skill sets of all of these different individuals, all of these different roles and responsibilities. Now, how they did this before may be different than how they're going to operate in the future, right? A testing engine is probably going to optimize more automation than perhaps in the past. Same thing with security. And developers in particular, we're talking about full stack engineers. Developers in particular need to understand not only how to write their code, they need to know how to build it, secure it, potentially deploy it, and maybe even operate it. That does not dismiss the fact that there is a tribe of IT experts that collectively are necessary to create value, right? Again, you have to, though, look at your role or your future role and how you're going to be able to grow and support your organization's goals. So the interesting part about the human skill journey is that there's not one set of skills that's considered essential. Yes, so our technology skills, our automation skills are obviously a big part of our core competency, right? If you're a developer, your primary skill is the ability to write code or to develop software. That's awesome, right? But automation and technology is not enough. You need to have strong human skills. You need to be a good collaborator. You need to be comfortable sharing your knowledge or receiving knowledge from others. You have to have good empathy, right? Look at the world through somebody else's eyes. You need to be able to be inclusive. And embrace the wide variety of perspective and experiences of people on your team and other teams. You need to be a good collaborator and a good communicator. So do not undervalue the need for good human skills, and don't understand that these aren't skills that you can grow, right? If you feel that you're not good at conflict management or you want to improve your communication skills, there are techniques and ways to do that, including peer-to-peer. So human skills are essential, right? Obviously, automation skills, continuous integration, delivery, deployment, operations, DevSecOps, really understanding security. Moving into the cloud from a technology perspective, looking at container orchestration or application technologies, or moving into microservice environments, certainly something to at least have a base understanding of, right? You don't have deep in all of these skills, right? But you do need to at least have a core understanding, right? Depth and breadth of these skills. So have a wide range of broad skills and deep skills in your key area. Also, don't undervalue the need for process and framework skills. And that's not necessarily Agile or Scrum or ITIL, right? IT, we love our frameworks, but it's understanding flow. It's understanding design thinking and systems thinking, and then support that with Agile or site reliability engineering or ITIL or IT service management or any of the other frameworks. But the ability to analyze flow, to be able to identify constraints, is important as well. And then last but not least, everybody should have functional skills. You should have a good understanding, maybe not a deep understanding, but a good understanding of IT operations and infrastructure and security, application development and design, SDLC, and then systems architecture. Right? Everybody's an engineer, right? Systems engineering is a key aspect of what we're trying to accomplish, and you can't build a system without the support of all of these skills. Now, that could be a little daunting, right? Remember, you don't have to become an expert at all of this, but you do have to have a broad range of knowledge about all of it. Look at this from our respondents. How would you rate the importance of major skill domains for a DevOps team member? 69% said your human skills, right, would help you stand out, followed by process frameworks, functional, automation, and technology. Now, this year, automation skills rose to the top, fueled in many ways by the need to pivot very quickly to an automated environment as a result of the pandemic. But again, your human skills really take a very, very important place in skills. And each of these is almost statistically equal in terms of where you should develop some skills, right? Again, you don't have all of it, but don't undervalue or don't ignore any of these areas. The day of the siloed IT professional is going away. Here are the 15 top DevOps skills. Now, again, take a moment to process this. There is not a single category that's represented here, right? It is really a blend, a marriage of all of the skill domains that I just showed you, right? Empathy, human skill, container orchestration, technology skill, Agile Scrum, framework skill, right? So start to look at this as kind of a recipe for which skill you focus on. Make sure that you're looking at all of these 15 skills and others, right? You want to learn about AI, you want to learn about machine learning, you want to learn about data or metrics, that's fine. But these were considered the 15 top DevOps skills, and they cross a wide range of domains across the human skill portfolio. Here's the unfortunate news. Upskilling programs, formal upskilling programs within enterprises are lagging. 39% of the respondents said their organization does not have a formal upskilling program. There's some high-profile upskilling programs, Amazon, FedEx, you might be hearing about them in the news. And again, we're hoping that more and more organizations, fueled by this acceleration into the digital landscape, will start to introduce those. But regardless of that, many organizations allocate training budgets for their staff, particularly in IT. There are HR capabilities, right? There may be tuition or otherwise. So you need to and I'll give you some tips in just a minute, really start to develop a plan for yourself in conversation with, say, your supervisor or your team in terms of developing a strategy for upskilling, right? It may be a team strategy, an individual strategy. Organizations want to support that, even those that don't have an upskilling program. They understand the benefit of your learning something new and how it will support them in their quest for a digital transformation. But you have to ask, right? I think you have to own your skills, but of course your organization wants to optimize your skills for your benefit, but also for the benefit of the organization and its customers in terms of value creation. Are you ready to reinvent yourself, right? I mean, I've said it a couple of times already. You can't rest on your current skills. You can build on them, you can transform them, you can adopt and adapt them. But you personally have to be ready to reinvent yourself. Nobody can give you skills, right? They can open opportunities for you. They could support you with investment, right? Fund training, peer to peer. I mean, training is not always formal in the classroom. Peer to peer mentoring, online learning, going to webinars, going to events. But it does take a motivation, a personal motivation, an initiative to be able to do. And we've created a little DevOps aptitude quiz for you that look at these questions and really honestly assess, you know, how you think you are today. And again, this is more of a behavioral aptitude test. And DevOps is as cultural as it is technical. And then go the next step down and really look at those domains and assess where do of those 15 skills, where do you feel that you're strong? Where do you think there are areas that you can improve upon? And then have that conversation with your organization, have that conversation with your team or your peers, and come up with strategy that works for you. Again, it's no better time to be in IT, and organizations are very, very willing to be open to the opportunity for continuous learning. And never before are there so many free events, are there so many webinars on demand. Again, there's so many resources that are available to you that it could be overwhelming. But establishing a strategy is very, very important. So some key takeaways, and I wish I had time to really deep dive into some of the data that came out of the upskilling report. Again, you are very welcome to go up to the DevOps Institute website and download the report. It's pretty deep. It's about 60 pages, so a lot of graphs. So again, you can pretty much pick out areas that are of interest to you, from what you're trying to do. But, as I said before, it's your turn to reflect, plan, and initiate an upskilling journey, and then scale it across the organization. If you're in a leadership role, do this for your team. The benefits are, the return on that investment is tremendous. And again, the opportunity to scale is very much based on human and automation capabilities. Assess your current DevOps capabilities. Now, that also includes your understanding of continuous integration, continuous delivery, DevSecOps, SRE, right? Do you have at least a core understanding of this and the key technologies that support it, right? Kubernetes is a great example on that. Reflect on your skills, as I said, really looking at all 5 upskilling domains. Understand which skills have helped you make an impact already, and what those impacts actually are, and how you could keep growing those. So again, if you're a software engineer or an infrastructure engineer, what kind of impact are you making? Be proud of that, celebrate the achievement, and look at how you can even take it a little bit further. And then honestly assess your willingness to change. Change is hard, right? Particularly if you've been in IT for more than a few years. Be a change agent for yourself. Be a change agent organization. Baby step it if you need to, right? Maybe you're not ready to jump in with both feet. That's okay, right? Baby step it if you need to, but have an honest assessment of yourself in terms of your willingness, your time, your commitments to be able to explore new skills, new capabilities, and to make those changes. And once you've done all of that, then make a plan. Right? Make a plan. I said, even if it's a baby step plan, make a plan, prioritize where you'd like to grow. You think there's a gap for your team or for your organization. As I said, I think an open have a conversation with your team, your peers, your supervisor makes a lot of sense. But never lose focus on value, right? Everything we do in IT, and I've been in IT a fairly long time, too often our customer was the technology. And today, more than ever before, customer delight, customer experience, value creation, we really have to look at the outside in and understand how we are delivering value, regardless of what role you play in the journey, right? In the value stream, how do you create value along the way. And then continue your automation journey because, again, human skills, functional skills, process skills, essential, right? Essential. But at the end of the day, we really have to automate a lot of what we do so that we can go faster and more frequently. So with that, I hope I've given you just a little bit of insight into DevOps from a human perspective. And I'm hoping that I've sparked a couple of questions, and I know that Michael might have for me. So thank you again for the opportunity to spend a little bit of time with you. I do hope that you'll process some of the information and download the upskilling report and continue to grow as we move into this new normal. Again.
I hope you're all as blown away as I am. Jayne, thank you so much. And again, from everybody involved,